This is an M-rated game, so viewer discretion is advised. I'm not kidding, kids. This is my most violent review ever. So my younger subscribers should click away now.
MadWorld.
I don't know what's up with Sega lately. They've been coming out with some of the most offensive titles for the Wii. It started with House of the Dead with its record-breaking F-bombs. Now they come out with a game which the goal is to kill your enemy in the most brutal way possible. But MadWorld is an interesting game. The entire game has the feel of a black and white graphic novel. Now the black and white art style might be fine to read in a comic book form, but it doesn't quite work in a video game. It was often hard to keep track of where you were, even with the map, since everything looked the same. The story starts off pretty simple, but gets more complex as the levels progress. But like usual, I'm not going to spoil anything. But basically your name is Jack, and you're in a TV show that rewards violence. You get sponsored by the Roman numeral 13, who is a division of the evil characters in Kingdom Hearts. Okay, I made that up, but since they use the same logo, why can't they be related? The bad guys in this game have about as much intelligence in this game as the Heartless in Kingdom Hearts. I'm just saying it's something to think about. The game is a brawler. They give you a bunch of cannon fodder enemies to kill. With each kill, you get points on the amount of creativity in your kills. They give you a set time limit, and if you don't get enough points by then, you'll have to redo the whole level over again. Everybody probably knows my feelings on time limits in games. They're ridiculous, especially in this game. When the goal of the game is to often do multiple death moves on an enemy, they shouldn't hinder you with the time limit. Losing the time limit in the game certainly would have made the game more fun for me. Your character has a retractable chainsaw on his arm, but that's not going to be your most used weapon. It's more there for the occasional kill, as it won't fetch you too many points. There are many improvised weapons you can use on the enemies around you to score more points. As the match goes on and you reach certain point goals, special items or events are unlocked. The special events were time-based, so you don't spend the entire time doing them. They were interesting mini-games. They always involved killing enemies in very creative ways. They use the motion controls to pull off special moves when the enemies are stunned. Although all the waggling that you're asked to do can get really tiring since you have to kill a lot of random fodder bad guys. You'll travel the map fighting other players and bosses. Occasionally you'll have to ride your bike to other parts of the map. These sections were a nice break from the normal routine, but killing the enemies was way too easy and at times it got boring. There are bosses that you have to fight at the end of every level, and they were all very unique, as each one would have a different fighting style and the way you'd have to defeat them. But the major problem with this game is the camera. You would constantly have to deal with getting a good angle. It was a big problem for me in the later levels when the enemies got smarter and faster. You can lock onto an enemy, but when you have 5 of them around you, it can get really hectic to deal with. You can play the minigames that you unlocked in the single-player game with other players, so there is a bit of a party game in this title. If you can call a party game to see who's going to kill the most guys. The music in this game was just awful. You would want to shut it off immediately. They also had a running commentary, and while it was funny, they reused the same commentary too much, so I tended to turn it off as well. MadWorld is a very short game. I beat the game in about 6 hours. If there was ever a game that should be classified as a rental, this is it. There just isn't enough in the game to worthy a buy, at least not at its current $50 price tag, so I think you should just rent it.